What's on your mind, G?
So what's on my mind is very, very simple, but very, very close to my heart, and that is police brutality.
Okay.
So
Close to your heart.
yeah, it's because I think we've got into a stage where you go on social media and you see another case of police blatant brutality, right? And we've gone to a point where, especially people, minorities from the UK, when we see something happening in the US, we almost sort of like shrug a little bit sometimes because it feels so alien, the concept of it. And
does it?
Because I think sometimes it's so hard to relate when it's not directly happening to you. Right. So no matter how many examples you see of it, because it's not happening to you, there's still a little bit of a barrier between you and what is going on. But I was literally, when was it? For yesterday. Yeah, I just saw an incident and I just thought to myself, and there was this gentleman that got stopped by the police, right? And so he got stopped by the police because he turned, I think he didn't make a indication, yeah. So the police obviously signaled for him to stop. He stopped. The police came out of his car. The first thing the police did, the guy did was take out his gun and uncock it. I'm not even kidding. The first thing he did was take out his gun and uncock it. And this guy has got no priors. He's got nothing on his record to actually warrant that action. So the guy goes to him, excuse me, what have you got your gun cocked? So obviously he had his phone on. What have you got your gun cocked? And the police was like, sort of like, because I can. And he goes, so right now, you come out of your car, you've got your gun cocked, you've got no justification for this. Right. You're coming into my what do you call it, my car with that energy already intended, right? What do you think is the outcome? What do you think is the outcome? Well, my kid is gonna hear from the in the news the following day going, his dad has been shot dead for no reason other than you maybe being a little bit skittish. And it got me thinking, you know, back in the day, it used to be you judge a man or you judge a person by the things they do when they think no one is watching, right? So
back in the day, when?
Yeah, that's my own. That's my own little philosophy.
Because I'm trying to think of when was that a thing?
No, because you always, someone could smile in your face, but when someone feels comfortable in a space where they feel no one is judging them, that's when sometimes their true character comes in. Right. So that is what I'm trying to go at. But don't you find it how scary it is now that all these things happening, right?
Right.
You've got body cams. So these guys actually know they are being filmed. And yet they still resort to this blatant disregard for human life. Could you imagine what they used to do when there was no cameras around? That actually scares me to death. To think these guys are going on the way they're going on right now, and they blatantly know. It's not that someone is actually filming them from behind, and they've actually got their own body cams on as well. And they're going on with this blatant disregard. And yeah, that really scared me. So, you know, I was going to raise this up and see if you've got anything to add to what I just brought up.
I have nothing to add.
I was like, finally, he's got nothing to say.
That would be a day. Especially around police brutality. I mean, I think, firstly, I have to identify, the sad thing is I looked at that, I listened to what you just said, and I was just like, that has become normal to me.
That's very, very scary.
You know, I'm just like, you could copy and paste everything you said there to like 25 different scenarios that I've watched on someone's Instagram page in the past year and a half. Like, it's nothing too dissimilar, you know? And I think absolutely it's such a scary feeling now because there's an element, obviously, and also the fact that there's a overt skewing to a particular group of people, which is black male. Yeah. And you know, so that is the danger and that's the fear. But if I bring that even closer to home, because I think another thing interesting about this is with, as you said, with Britain and the UK, people tend to look at that in a far removed way. Oh, that's happening in America. That's so bad out there, which is factual. but it makes people then think, oh, we're much better here,
yeah.
which I think is the danger.
Yeah.
To me, that's the scarier bit.
Yeah.
Because the fact that there isn't an overt use of firearms in this country doesn't mean harassment are not common.
Yeah.
You know, because I think it's far from. But we get blinded by the desensitization that has occurred from us seeing the incessant use of force and guns and violence in America by police officers that we think here is so much better.
Is it also a thing of, because we cannot, everything is so comparable, right?
Right.
When you've seen worse, you assume
think,
your condition is okay because it's not as bad as what you've seen. Yeah,
absolutely. Because I think it's much more insidious here. I'm not saying I would rather take the blatant overt version, but I think maybe that way I know to be prepared for that. Because then, while I was in America doing a residency for a couple of months, I had to switch my mentality around. I knew that the way that I would react to a police officer when he came to me is completely different from how I would do when I was in London. So therefore I had to switch my mentality. And I think with that, at least I was mentally prepared. I was mentally armed. So if a police officer came to me, I knew I had to go much more than minus 50% of my energy, just to make sure that I gave him no just cause to even think I'm trying to
threaten him.
Whereas in the UK, I'll just be normal because I'll just think, well, you're not really going to try and pull a gun at me. So the worst case scenario, you try and throw me in the cuffs, and I could argue that one out. Whereas so here, therefore, I don't have that same level of heightened awareness, alertness about my demeanor when police officers are here, which then it's almost like I'm disarmed. So it's easier for them to even catch me out because I'm just like doing what I'm doing normally, and all of a sudden,
what are you doing that they catch you? You're trying to catch you out.
Like for example, there was an instance of George the poet, who's like I guess renowned poet who did the poem for the royal wedding. And I think a couple of days after that, he was at his mom's house. He has a Range Rover. He was sitting in his Range Rover, I think, just on the phone with his friend, and the police came through. A couple of them, I think, unmarked vans. They, put him in cuffs, saying, you look suspicious or something like that.
Well, just because a black boy is
in a Range Rover.
In a Range Rover.
They said, we suspect something or whatever. They searching him out. It's like, do you guys know who I am? Just Google me. Google my name. I'm just not like. If the reason, the question is, what should I do anyway? The fact that you're saying Google my name, the question is, what would they give you a blight because they know that you're George the poet? But the question is, I guess for him, and what that highlighted is no one is immune to this. When you have this color, doesn't matter if you were sitting on the Queen's lap yesterday. If they want to find justifiable reason, which is none more justifiable than the fact that you're black, to stop you at any time, they would, and they would give the reason why, well, we thought that, you potentially could have been carrying whatever, weapons, drugs, whatever it is, or we just wanted to do a routine check on whatever that is. So yes, I think, so therefore, he was harassed in terms of, put in cuffs, he was, pushed around, and they had no reason for that justifiably anyway. And there's so many more instances. My sister's a lawyer, and she always recounts situations of how she has to, when she, shows up to defend a client and she hears the story and she knows, and she hears all of the abuse that these, clients have, undergone on the hands of police officers, and how these guys, not all, obviously, but there's a high percentage of cases where police officers just fabricate these reports because they all back each other. I say this all happens, and they see all these bruises from their clients because 9 times out of 10, the fact is these clients are not angels. So therefore, that always negates anything else.
Because their history is already preceding that.
Exactly. So therefore, the fact that we had to rough you up to find the drugs with you justifies, so you can't come back and say, well, you had no just cause to come into my house and bang me up. But then you found some drugs, so therefore, we're justified.
Exactly.
So it's about realizing that, as a society, yes, if we look at it comparatively, America is definitely worse in that regard. But the point is, it's a global issue. Well, I say global, but more Western global issue. And I think, firstly, there was a question about is there anything we could do within ourselves
Yeah.
to change how that effect happens to us? I don't know if there is anything that we can do in terms of, obviously there's
Yeah.
certain situations where we can exacerbate the situation by either the demeanor, the negative energy, the ways that we maybe.
But is it not very, very difficult? If someone already, so it's like you saying, to not be harassed, you got to be like a dog sometimes.
I know. And
that's not humane in the first place.
Of course.
Because if I've genuinely done nothing wrong, right? And you came to me and you asked me a question, I'm supposed to answer you the same way you've asked me, right?
Right.
Why would I have to automatically subjugate myself just to appease you or just to come off non-threatening for you to be comfortable to then deal with me when you're the one that approached me in the first place, right? So
Absolutely.
it is a bit of a conundrum. And,
Right.
And not to cut you off, so this thing happened, right? And that's when I realized how, especially in the States, they're so intimidated by the cops. So there was this video of a lady, she got stopped by the police, right? And the police was, the gentleman was actually, it was sort of like a prank. So he was a police guy, but he was doing good that day. As in, he was sort of like giving things out.
Right.
So he stopped this lady. This lady didn't know, obviously, such a thing was going on. And she was being filmed. And you could tell how scared this lady was, right? So the man goes, put your hands on the and her hand went right on the dashboard.
Was she a black woman?
Yeah, black woman. And her voice is shaking. She is visibly shaking. Please, sir, what do you want me to do? And the guy went, oh, no, you are, and then you kind of flipped it. We giving out, I think, was ice cream or something. And the relief, you could see this lady visibly shaking. And I thought to myself, that is the police. That person is supposed to be serving you, well, technically, and making you feel safe. Not the other way around. It's almost like she was being robbed. I would liken the way she was acting to someone actually had a gun on her going, give me your money. She was petrified. And when she realized
It was a prank.
Yeah, it was a prank, you could literally feel the whole, the emotion just ooze out of her.
Right.
And if she was standing up, she would have collapsed on the floor. And I was like, wow. That's how terrified certain people are to the police. And just an innocent lady, it's not like she was a criminal who was running from the law, hence why she's scared of the police. Just a normal woman that is just so scared of the police because she knows what the police can do, or what you call it, the potential of things escalating to a point where she might not go home to her kids or spouses.
Absolutely. And I just think, that energy is quite toxic because it creates this preempted response, because you know that when they come at you, it's either you have to pre-plan how you're going to respond, because if you respond based on how they come at you, that often can lead into one outcome. So it's almost like you have to think 20 steps ahead, and decide how you want to react. You could choose either way, but just at that point, you have to have thought about it, because, and that's the scary part, because we have to have that extra consciousness way before it happens to know that.
Calm down.
Exactly.
Don't, whatever, almost accept whatever they throw at you.
Which is what you said about
react.
Being a dog, because that is the last thing you want to do.
As a human being, if you're right, you want to be able to go, I'm right. What is going on? But sometimes it feels like, regardless of you being right or not, it does not. At that point in time, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely, and it's scary. So I feel you.
The world, I think the world is
it's a great place.
I think as humans, right, we've got this ability for amazing beauty, right? But
some of us.
Counterpart that, we've got this awful degree of harm towards one another as well. I suppose that's what makes us such flawed, beautiful creatures in a way.
Yeah,
right?
I love the oxymoron of that.